You feel normal? You would have experienced that when you get into some situation which brings fear into you, suddenly there is fear. You want to use the washroom. You feel something funny in the stomach, like butterflies in the stomach. You want to use the washroom. Has anybody experienced this? Put up your hand. That when you have heard some news which produces fear in you, you find that you need to use the washroom. Have you experienced that? Put up your hand. Nobody's experienced. So no fear. How shall we proceed then? I have to frighten all you guys now, first of all. Suppose you were to write an exam, you're not sure what I have studied, will that question come or not? There is fear in you. Before going into the examination hall, you feel there is something uneasy you're feeling. You may want to go to the washroom and come back. So that proves that your mind has an influence over the body. You have finished going to the bathroom and everything, but yet when you are gripped with this emotion, you feel you need to go and relieve yourself. So it is a proof that the mind controls, governs, influences the body. Now, this body of ours, this outer personality of ours, we said it has 5 organs of action, but the body by itself cannot act. Your body just cannot start walking and come and sit here in the classroom and start listening. It's not possible. By itself, it cannot do. Just as the car on its own cannot come out of the garage and get onto the road. It cannot. There has to be the driver who will take the car out, start driving. Similarly, our body cannot, though it acts, it does not act on its own. It has to be propelled into action, either by the mind or the intellect. Either by manas, meaning I feel like doing something, I desire to do something, I wish to do something, I have an impulse to do something. Either your mind is pushing the body to act, or you're thinking, your buddhi. I think this is good, I should go for this. This movie is nice, I should go and see the movie. Either you're thinking or you're feeling. One of the two should propel. There is a third possibility. So, first we said either the mind propels the body to act or the intellect propels the body to act. Third option is where both combine. Your mind and intellect. Your intellect suggests something, the mind agrees, and both get together and propel the body into action. Now let's examine what happens if only the mind were to propel the body to act. So what we said, what is the mind? Mind is the seat of your feelings, of your likes, dislikes, emotions, wishes, wants. See, the mind cannot think. It can only feel, right or wrong, good wishes, bad wishes, good desires, bad desires, horrible desires. Whatever your desires are, whether they are good or bad, the mind only feels. It cannot think that this is not good for me or this is good for me. It cannot think. But the mind, all the same, has the power to drive the body to act. It cannot think. Like suppose the driver is drunken, but it has the power to start the car and move. What will be the fate? Sooner or later, it could meet with an accident. So, where our mind, it has the power to propel the body to act. If it takes a decision on its own without consulting the intellect, the thinking faculty in me, itself decides that I like this, so let me go for it. A man is diabetic, is invited for lunch, and on the table there are sweetmeats served. Some sweets are served. He loves sweets. So how will the mind react? How will the mind react? It likes the sweet. So what will the mind say? It will prompt us to eat the sweet. Go for it. Come on, man. It's so tasty. I don't know when we will get a chance. Let's go for it. That's what the mind says. But the man is diabetic. And the doctors have said no more sweet. Sweet is not good for you. So the mind can suggest go for the sweet. If you listen to the mind and the body acts according to the mind's wishes, what is the result? Instantly you are happy because your desire is fulfilled. You like sweet and you could eat that sweet. So instantly there is happiness. But what follows after that instant happiness is suffering. Your action could be detrimental, not in your favor, not good for you. Because the mind cannot think, it cannot analyze, it just feels. I just like it or I don't like it. So you either avoid a thing or you go for it. But there is no thinking back in it. So if your wishes are stupid, are harmful, it brings suffering. It's detriment. So it's dangerous to follow only the mind. No consultation with the intellect. The second scene where act, okay, and the intellect takes a decision that the same diabetic case, the intellect says, the doctors have said, I've got diabetes, no more sweets, it's not good for you. So the intellect takes a firm stance. No touching the sweet. You like it or don't like it, I don't care. But you will not reach out for the sweet. So you don't take the sweet. The body is propelled to act by the intellect. What is the result? Sure, you have made a sensible choice. The action is sensible. But what is the state of the mind? Will your mind be happy? No. There's only. Will the mind be happy when the sweet is denied? No. Yet it is something which is the intellect has said correct. Okay. Now in that situation, what is happening is your body is acting. Within this body, we said there are two equipments, the feeling entity and the thinking entity. Now the thinking and feeling entities are not agreeing with each other. Intellect says don't touch the sweet. Mind wants the sweet. So they are opposed. There is confrontation. There is no harmony between the two. So even though you take the side of the intellect, do not touch the sweet, but your mind is not with you. It is not with that decision, in the sense it's not happy about it. So that's not a nice thing. One action, two action you can do. But if we lead a life, sometimes I heard yesterday that the father was such a stickler, meaning so particular about discipline. This time kids must wake up. This is what they must do. He had a very clear guideline, very strict. It could be anywhere. So the father's value is right. That value is correct. What the intellect, what he is saying is right. But he did not exercise sense of proportion. Meaning, so when the intellect is saying this is right, the intellect it won't be wise for the intellect to completely ignore what the mind wants. If it ignores, two things can happen. Immediately, of course, the mind is unhappy. If you continue to live in this manner, then your mind gets rebellious. You confront, it becomes powerful. At one time, it will say, I just don't agree, I will not follow. You will not get the cooperation of the mind. When we lead our lives thus, you find that there is frustration or there is repression. You're suppressed within. And at some point, you blow up. This is when only the intellect decides without taking the mind into consideration. At home, if you do not take what the child wants into consideration, sure, you can implement these rules and regulations, but the children are not happy. And that's not a nice situation at home. Once, twice, it's okay. When something was really important and the parent put the foot down and said, no, nothing doing this we will do. That's okay. But not as a way of life. Third situation. What did we say? The body cannot act by itself. It is propelled into action either by the or both. Now let's see the situation where there is a situation you have to take action. Now the intellect thinks about it, but definitely consults the mind, keeps the mind in the picture. Hey, what do you think? So the mind would say, no, I like this, I don't think. So there is a discussion between the two, okay? Whatever is reasonable, the intellect should get on with that. In such a case, the mind will not, though we have not listened to the mind for that particular situation, not all cases, it is not that your mind is wrong 100 times in 100 things. No, not all the time in all the things. No, the intellect, wherever the mind, see, suppose you want to see a movie, the mind desires to see a movie. The intellect, suppose it says, no, movies are not good or this is not the time. No, it may not be so. Your exams are over, you're finished with everything, you have some free time. What is the harm in the intellect to listen to the mind's wishes? What the child wants. There is no problem. If you function in this manner, where you are considering what the mind is saying, do not unnecessarily, without any logic, reason, deny the mind what it wants, then the mind is not frustrated. It slowly starts understanding that it is only when I am too wrong that the intellect will not sanction. Otherwise, the intellect is always out to take the mind into consideration and function. Even the parents, whenever it is possible for the parents, when I say parents, mean the adults. The mind in us, like the child, the intellect is the adult. So the adult, the intellect in us is charitable towards the mind, towards the child in us. When you lead your life thus, you will find that such a person is not frustrated within, he is not repressed within. You are relaxed, you are cool, you are calm. When there is a happy union between the mind and the intellect, that is the best situation. When you function in life thus, it is like having the tailwind. You know what is the tailwind? Headwind? No. When you are, or shall we say, when the boat is moving, right? If the breeze, while you are in the waters, when the boat is moving, if the wind is in the direction of the boat, in the movement, what will happen? It will go faster. It is easy, right? It is smooth. If the boat is going in this direction and the strong wind is also coming in the opposite direction, what do you experience? There is resistance. That much more power you need. Okay? Same happens within us. If you just listen to the mind, intellect is not consulted at all. Whatever you think, right, wrong, I don't care. The mind is so powerful, it just dictates all the action. Then you're going wild. That's not a sensible life. Sooner or later, you will bring suffering to yourself. You yourself will bring suffering. Second option, if the intellect alone decides on every matter, does not take mind into consideration at all, does not respect the feelings, what it wants, you don't talk to the mind at all, then that action, what it is like, the boat will be moving, but it is as if it will have what? Headwind or tailwind. If the intellect alone decides without taking mind into consideration, what does it produce in you? There is resistance, there is frustration, mind is not happy. They are not on talking terms. So it is like the boat moving, but the wind is against. You face a headwind. But if the mind and the intellect are in connect, if the intellect at every step would take into consideration what the mind wants and decide what is good, not simply because the mind is thinking. In such a situation, those actions that come out of such a union of mind and intellect, such a matured union of mind and intellect, you find the actions are smooth. There is no resistance. You are relaxed. It is like there is tailwind in your life. Everything is smooth, no problem. There is no stress or strain. There is no confrontation, no conflict within you. Now, there is a catch in this whole thing. Before we made this point, that the body cannot act by itself, it will propel to act by the mind or the intellect or both. What did we say? You have three equipments of that body is, anybody remembers? Let's see, let's test you now. You have three equipments. The body is, let's say, I'll give you one tip. Body is gross. Mind is, anybody remembers? What is the mind? And what's the status of the intellect? Okay, I'll repeat. The body in us is gross. Subtler than the body is the mind in you. There's something happening there. Subtler than the mind is the, now you don't have to turn back. You know, this is test of concentration. Once in a class, okay? In the class, anything, when you engage in anything, you are successful if you concentrate, right? So what the teacher did, there were little fellows, small, maybe 4, 5-year-old children were sitting. So the teacher was telling how to concentrate. See, just as there was a disturbance, right? So what the teacher did, it was prearranged, it was dramatized. So they made somebody stand outside and they came within the earshot, the children could hear, and they dropped something loud, Dhamal. Okay? The test was, not test, we have not told the children how many heads would turn towards the sound. That is the test of your concentration. If your intellect is available, what will it do? There is a sound, you have registered the sound, right? Because the mind is present there. You have registered, there is a sound. But the intellect kicks in and says, yes, there is a sound, but I have got nothing to do with that sound. I'm here to listen, so let me focus. It's not only referring to this class, anytime, wherever you are. So the intellect is alert and available and tells the mind to stay put. You don't need to turn your head. It will not let the body turn. So when there is some sound, I'm saying what's happening there. So if the rest of the class starts turning there, means it is just an exhibition of how my intellect is functioning. It's not there. It should be alert and say, what have I got to do with that? I'm here on a job and let me focus on that. Okay. So we said the body is gross. The mind is subtler than the body. And subtler than the mind is? Subtler than the mind is? People are sleeping? Thank you. Subtler than the mind is the intellect. If this intellect in us is such a superior equipment, it is the subtlest equipment in the body, then why is it that when I have a choice, when I have to act, why is it that the mind just does not listen to the intellect? The intellect is the most powerful, it is superior, it is the boss in the personality. Why is it that there is any conflict within me? It should simply listen to the intellect because the mind is weaker. The mind is not more powerful than the intellect. The intellect is most powerful. Then why this situation? We said the body cannot act by itself. If the mind is disturbed, the action is disturbed. So we were giving examples how the mind is controlling the body. Why does the intellect not control the mind? If we claim that it is subtler than the mind, it is the subtlest aspect in our personality. So all action should be great. All according to the your proper thinking. The reason for that is when you are born, when the birth takes place, only the physical body is born. Only the baby is there, physical body. There is no mind or intellect in it at birth. Let maybe 2-3 months pass, maybe a month or two, not sure. And you find that, see, before 1 or 2 months, anybody can pick up the baby. It won't cry, no problem. It does not distinguish between mother and the stranger. So it won't cry. But after some time, maybe 1 or 2 months, 3 months, the baby is comfortable if the mother is picking it up. If a stranger picks it up, it cries. Bah! It will cry. It is a sign that the mind is emerging. The baby starts having preferences. I like this. I don't like this. I'm comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with this. It is a sign. If you feed the milk at a particular temperature or in a particular way, sometimes the baby has a particular posture to sleep. If you do it according to its liking, it is quiet, it's comfortable. It's proof that the mind has started emerging slowly, right? But the intellect has not emerged. The intellect, baby is not thinking. It has no reason, no logic. It is not able to decide, judge anything. No analysis. At the age of 7, 8, 9, somewhere there, the intellect is born. The intellect emerges. When the child can think independently, it can think logically, clearly. That's why at that age, you have some of the homes have got Upanayanam ceremony. Have you heard of that? Upanayanam, you have here Upanayanam? The thread ceremony. It is also referred to as Dvija, means twice born. At birth, it is only the physical body that is born. Your real personality, your inner personality is born when you start thinking for yourself. Before that, every decision is taken by the adult. Where you should sit, everything you are assisted with. But at that age of around 8 or something, you are an independent thinker. It's then that a personality is born. So we said this intellect is the subtlest equipment we have. But this equipment arrives only after 8 years or so of our life. And what did we say about the mind? When does the mind start showing up? 2-3 months after the birth. The nature of the mind is such that it develops on its own. It does not need any coaching, no tutoring, nothing, no guidance. It develops, multiplies, likes, dislikes, wishes, wants, desires, impulses, emotions on its own, just as the baby. It has just to be fed food. It grows. The baby, when birth is so small, after 4 years, 5 years, it's growing beautifully on its own. There is no special training given. That, oh, I have to pull the hand, then it will grow longer. No, just give that food and it's fine. But this is not the case with the intellect. The intellect in us is the subtlest equipment, and it emerges only around the age of 8 or so. And what's more, this intellect of ours, it needs to be worked upon. It needs to be trained to think logically, clearly, to precise reasoning, precise judging, clarity of thought. It has to be trained. And what has happened now? See, by the time, first of all, it is at 8, it has just emerged. Whereas the mind which had emerged at what time? Wait, let me see if you are still awake. When did the mind emerge in the personality? After 2 or 3 months. So, by the time 8 years have gone, when the intellect has just about sprung up, the mind has gathered so much momentum, so much force. It has become so powerful an entity in us. It has become very powerful. So by the time you're 8, you have very distinct, strong likes, dislikes, wishes, want, emotions, very strong. But the intellect has just come up. It's so weak and feeble. Now you have to work upon that. That's why all of us are sent to school. We are sent to college to develop this intellect, because on its own it cannot develop. It needs training. When we come to school, that's why we come to school, because intellect is the most important, and you come to develop the intellect. Now, the intellect in us has got two capacities. Everybody's intellect, two capacities. One, the intellect has the capacity to acquire very many knowledges, information it can get. This is the capacity of the intellect, the function of the intellect. This, the schools and colleges have done an excellent job. We are very well informed on many subjects. What subjects you are studying? What are the subjects you are studying? Okay, now also you're in school. What did you study? You had science? Just say yes. Science, maths, geography, history, English, grammar, Telugu. See how much information we got. Then when you came to college, further tuning, what you would like, which stream you want to major in. So this intellect in us has the capacity to gain various knowledges from external sources. That's why the school, college feed us with a lot of information. So this we term as, learn this one word. Then you have, when your intellect has got very many knowledges, it doesn't mean that you have to be brilliant in that. Generally, you know about different things in life. This is called as intelligence. What is it called? Please repeat. Intelligence. Remember it for your life. All the information, various informations you have, it could be cooking, it could be singing, dancing, any information, that is called as intelligence. Now, the second thing, the second capacity of the intellect, it is unheard. We do not even know. Forget capacity of the intellect. You know, most people do not even know that there is something called mind and intellect within us. That's why we started the class with that. We do not know that there is an equipment called intellect in us. What's the role of the intellect? Not as we are explaining. Generally, of course, you have heard the word. That's why you said buddhi. You understand intellect. You have heard the word, but not in the context, not the way we are explaining here. So the second capacity, that's the best equipment that you have. It has the capacity to strengthen itself by itself. Now, this is what do you mean by strengthen the intellect? Why should I strengthen the intellect? What is the meaning first? Only then we will know why I should strengthen. Strengthening the intellect means you subtleize it, you make it capable of controlling the mind. An intellect which, see, sometimes we have got, okay, all of us who tell others, that it is good to exercise. Everybody believes it is good to exercise. Right. Everybody has certain set of values. Don't overeat, eat right things. When you are given a lesson, study properly. Everybody's intellect knows that. But am I able to make myself live according to what I think is right? I know I should sleep in time, wake up in time, I must exercise, eat the right thing, I must do my lessons right. Whatever your values, I'm not saying whether it is right or wrong. Whatever you think is right, you find that we can't do what we think is right. I know I must keep my things neat and clean, but I'm not able to do it. Why? Why can't we do what the intellect is telling us to do? Even though it is right, and we agree it is right, yes, it's good for me. Why can't you do? Because what is the other aspect in us? You have the body. Within the body, you have what? So now the intellect is saying, these are the things which are good for you. We are saying you're not able to do what you think is right. Why? What is interfering with that? What is taking you away from that? There. Somebody is answering here. Mind. The mind is that which will come, hey, yeah, it is right, but it's so nice to, we'll stay up late, we'll meet up with friends. It will take you away from that. So your intellect has the knowledge, has that information, intelligence, but it has no strength. It is very weak. When it comes to the mind suggests something. Intellect has no power to say, just shut up. I will do what I think, what is to be done. No. We succumb to the mind, meaning the intellect is so weak. Though it is designed, it has the capacity to become strong and control the mind and the personality. But we are not able to do that. Now you want to know how to, so in the educational institution, only the first aspect is attended to. The second is not known. So we come out of our education institutions, maybe well qualified, brilliant doctors, lawyers, engineers, chartered accountants, great teachers, everything. We may come out with flying colors as far as the degree is concerned. But yet, we are not strong people. Our intellect is not strong. I know of a person who had passed brilliantly, topped his university from America and all that he did. And he writes to his dean that I am very grateful to you for teaching me so brilliantly, because he was a brilliant engineer, very much in demand everywhere. You have that placement thing going on. Straight away placed into the best companies. All that was great. But what does he write to his dean? What I did not learn, what you did not teach me, or my education is incomplete, because when I came out into the world, I found that I'm not able to handle the challenges. If something does not go my way, or if there is some death, some loss, something has gone wrong, you lose your family member or something, I am very disturbed. I am not able to face the challenge. I was not taught. I wish the college could teach us how to handle, how to be strong people, so that I'm not disturbed. Then I'm a complete person. I'm only brilliant in one aspect, that is the engineering or chartered accountancy. And then he writes, how much time in the whole day do I function as an engineer? Very little time. Rest of the time I'm meeting with so many situations, so many roles I have to play, but I'm not able to play them effectively. So my education is incomplete. Presently, after the talk, we will be showing you a short video on this institution called the Vedanta Academy. It's an educational institution. It is 1 hour from Pune, 2 hours from Mumbai, where the focus is just on strengthening the intellect. First, when you get information, what is that called? You all said. It is called, what do you have? When you have a lot of information from the world, what did we say? That is called as, anybody? Intelligence. We say you have intelligence. When you have a strong intellect, we say you have intellect that time. So, but very many times people confuse intelligence and intellect. Okay, I'll give you a short story. A young girl, she had lot of problems. One problem solved, next bigger problem came up. That one was solved, still something else came up. So she got so tired. She goes to her mother. She says, "Ma, I am through. I don't think I can handle this. I'm going to give it up." The mother doesn't say anything. What does the mother do? Goes to the kitchen. The girl follows her. Mother goes to the kitchen. She brings out 3 pots, 3 vessels, puts water in all 3. And she puts that vessel on the fire, on the gas. 3 vessels on the gas. Waits for some time. The water starts boiling. All 3 vessels, water is boiling. So, in one vessel, she puts some carrot. The second vessel, she puts some eggs. Third vessel, she puts some, coffee bean, crushed it and put it in that boiling water. And let the water boil for some time. And after about 10 minutes or something, so the girl is saying, "Ma, I was talking to you. I am telling you seriously that I have so many problems. It is disturbing me. And here, what are you doing all this? You're not listening at all." So the mother says, "Come here. Look at this." She said, "Yeah, I can see the carrot is boiling. The eggs are boiling. There is coffee there. And I can get the nice rich aroma of the coffee. And must be tasting also very nice." So then what does the mother do? She takes out that carrot from that boiling water, puts in another bowl. Second bowl, she takes out the boiling eggs and puts in that bowl. Third bowl, she takes a ladle, a spoon, big spoon, takes out water from there, that coffee, and puts it in another bowl. And now she asks the girl, "What do you see?" She said, "Yeah, I see carrot, eggs, and coffee." Said, "No, see properly." Then the girl comes and touches the carrot. Now the carrot it becomes soft. Because the carrot was put in that boiling water. What was the nature of the carrot? It was hard. It was strong. It was unrelenting. Nice strong carrot, you can't bend it. Stays firm. Before it met the challenge, the person appears very strong, powerful, inflexible. I will not budge. I will not compromise. This is the attitude before getting into trouble, into a challenge. After it was put in that boiling water, meaning that adverse environment, what did it emerge as? What did that adverse environment, that challenge, that difficult time do to the carrot, which claimed that it was strong, powerful, and uncompromising? It became powerless. It became soft, limp. This is what the challenge did. So you were powerful before, you face a challenge, you emerge what? A weakling. What happened to the egg? Egg was very fragile before it was put in the water. The inside of the egg is all liquid, very soft, malleable. You have a very nice nature. You mix with everybody. You can gel with everybody because of your inner nature being that way. Okay. When such a person meets a challenge, some financial loss, something really went unfortunately very bad in your life. Okay. When you go through such an experience, what happened to the egg? The mother asked the girl to now take the shell out. She took inside. What do you find? You find the egg, that hard-boiled egg. Now it has become nice and solid. So when such a person meets with adversity, some challenging situation, initially, before you met the challenge, you were a very soft, a nice, a kind, a gelling person, mixed with everybody, a pleasant person. But when you have gone through rough times in life, you become hard-hearted. Like the egg become hard. You are like, you won't see the hard egg, liquid will gel with everybody. The hard egg will stick out. You do not gel with anybody. You are not kind anymore. You are bitter in life, and you're stiff. You have a stiff personality when you have gone through a challenge. What happened in case of the coffee bean? Coffee beans were unique. When that coffee bean powder was put in that boiling water, see, all three items have gone through the same challenge, same boiling water, same temperature, same length of time. What happened to the third, coffee bean powder? That also faced the challenge, right? Adverse things, something would have gone terribly wrong, some great loss, sometimes unjustified loss. You have done good, but the person didn't respond properly, something like that. But how did the coffee respond to that adverse environment? The coffee brought out, what did it bring out of itself? That hot water, what did the hot water bring out of coffee? It brought out rich aroma, meaning that nice fragrance, nice smell of coffee. When you're making coffee, you can get that nice smell. So what did the hot water do? What did the challenge do? It brought out that rich aroma from the coffee and the great taste from that coffee. So it pulled out the best nature from the coffee. Second thing that coffee did, not only how did it respond to the adverse environment, it did not become bitter, it did not become powerless. It faced the challenge with its best nature. The best came out from that coffee. Second thing that the coffee did, it changed the very nature of that hot water. That adverse challenge, it changed that very nature. The whole water, the boiling hot water, it turned into great coffee, great taste, great aroma. So this is what intellect which is developed does in us. So what do you want to be in life? You want to be carrot? You want to be the egg? What do we all want to be? Coffee. What makes us that coffee bean? What makes us that personality which, no matter what you face in life, you have the strength to face that challenge squarely and in a positive manner. The best comes out, not the worst. You're not mean to the situation. I don't know if you have seen this movie. Have you? Okay, first, have you heard of this Hindi movie? But English? Not heard. Then I can't give you the link. I have to first show you all the movie. Okay, I'll tell you what the movie was. You heard of the actress Sridevi? Huh? Heard, no? Okay, the Sridevi in this movie. So in this movie, the lady character, okay, she is the mother, wife, whatever, the family of husband, wife, and the two children. So Sridevi in this movie, she does not know English. She's an ordinary housewife. Whereas her husband and the daughter, the boy was quite young, just maybe 3-4 years old. But the girl was like 8, 9, 10 standard type, grown up. So this father was very brilliant, good job. He could really speak fluent English, big meetings and all he would attend. This girl also going to one fancy school was very good with English and all that. So these two would get together, the father and the daughter, and really look down upon the mother. Any chance they got, they would taunt the mother. They would make her feel that, you are just ordinary. You should not talk. Just go and mind your work. Go to the kitchen. That's your place. So Sridevi was very hurt because continuously she was humiliated, insulted. You okay? So one time it so happened, Sridevi's sister, who lives in America, now that sister's daughter is getting married. So she invites, okay? And they're very close. So everybody agrees that we will go to America. So now because the sister's daughter is getting married, so she said, tell Sridevi that why don't you come earlier and the other family people, meaning the husband and the two children, the daughter and the son, will come little later. So let's say you come a month in advance or something like that. Sri Devi agrees, she goes. Even that airport scene is a big scene because she doesn't know how to, answer that question to that American fellow, fumbling. So many mistakes she's making. Okay. So now this is the adversity she's facing, a difficult situation. The last thing in that movie, what happens is what actually I want to tell you. Also, you're not following the lecture, so I said better switch on to some stories for you guys. Okay. So she goes to America. One of that times, just when she has landed, second, third day, she goes out for something and she sees some advertisement, English speaking course. And then she says, why not I do this course? So somehow she got herself enrolled for the course. She does not tell her sister that I've joined the course. She does not tell that niece who is getting married also that I'm taking the course. Okay. So when all these people have gone away to work in the morning, she would get ready and go for the that course class. So long and short, she did the course. Okay. And she learned to speak English. The wedding got over, everything is over and all that. At the wedding, there is that. You seen the movie? See, I'm cutting short here and there, so she got me. Okay, so at the wedding, people will say, because they are doing it in America, and the son-in-law is an English boy or something. So there is something called you give a toast. You say something, some blessing, like how we say, you bless the couple. So that everybody was speaking in English. So now when it came to Sri Devi's turn, the husband is thinking what she will speak. She doesn't know anything. And the girl is giggling that what my mother will, she make a fool of herself. She just puts the husband hand down. I'll manage. I'll handle. She got up and she spoke. Very simple English, not too fluent, but she managed to give her message. And she spoke like good part, not too much, but she spoke at least good, comfortable 10 sentences blessing the couple. Everybody is shocked because they thought Sri Devi doesn't know any English. All that over, now they are returning back on the flight. So there is that husband, Sri Devi, and these children. So when the stewardess comes, they ask you, which newspaper you want to read. At least they start like that. So she says she opts for the English paper. And the husband, she's putting him in, she was not planning to do that. And then there is one statement made, I don't remember exactly, but that's the most important statement. When the family does not help you, is not with you, she went through rough time. They made fun of her. The family is not with her. They are humiliating her at every instance. She said, that's the time that you should work on yourself. She worked on herself. What she lacked was English. She went and took the course. You should work on yourself. And the result was what? She didn't show a thumb at them. She fulfilled that gap, that lacuna, that thing which she was lacking. She acquired that talent. And what did she do? She got back to the family in a very pleasant manner. She got the husband, daughter, children, everybody in a harmonious relationship. She did not show her thumb. She did not sign one divorce paper that, you're trying to act smart with me and you see what I can do. No, none of that. So we say that person, when it is in adverse situation, when it brings out the best in you. Best means what? That's the time you work on yourself. You set right, you become stronger, like the coffee bean. What did it do when the adversity was there? It brought out the rich aroma and the rich flavor. Did not hit back next. And second thing that the coffee bean did, what did the second thing it do? Anybody remembers? What did it turn the water into? It gave its own rich aroma and rich flavor of coffee. That adversity was converted. This is what Sri Devi did. She fulfilled what was lacking in her. She brought out, she used her own strength to grow up and what? Used it positively. Got the family together. No disharmony, no fights, no such arguments. So this is what a developed intellect does. The husband and the daughter, what did they have? Intelligence. What did Sri Devi have? What is the second word we used? She had the intellect, meaning a strong intellect, a developed intellect. Buddhi was developed to handle a situation, how I should handle, not negatively. You should use it positively to bring out the best in you and give the best to the society. Then your intellect is developed. Otherwise, you just have mere information, mere intelligence, which does not make you a strong person. So at the academy, we said it is dedicated to developing the intellect. In the educational institutions, we have succeeded in making the students intelligent, very informative, but because there is no knowledge about what is to strengthen intellect, there is no, at the moment, no program, no material, no facility for that. Not everybody, all of you can come to the academy. It's a 3-year course. So what has been designed for the colleges or for the educational institutions is an e-learning course. Sitting in with your own schedule, own program that you have, you could take the benefit of that material to develop the intellect. So this is what can be done. And once you have both, your growth, your personality is complete. It can handle any challenge, and so you're successful and peaceful in life. You're productive and peaceful, and you're happy. So this is fundamentals of right living, that you attend to this intellect. With this, we conclude. Thank you very much. Would you like to clarify anything?
Ma'am, does mind or intellect will influence overthinking skills in us?
Come again.
Does mind or intellect influence the overthinking skills within us? If so, how can it be overcome?
Will it affect the overthinking?
Overthinking.
If your intellect is developed, that's exactly what it does. See, once the intellect is developed, it will know exactly when to punctuate that overthinking. It will analyze. Why are you doing this? What towards what end? What is your goal in life? What will achieve me? What will take me closer to my goal? You put down those things. Does this fit in with that? If that overthinking doesn't fit in, the intellect has the strength to slice off that extra thinking. This is how it protects you against overthinking. We said intellect has the capacity to gather information. Lot of thinking it can do, but it is the intellect which will guide how much intelligence to take, where to direct it, how to direct it. That is the role of the developed intellect, the strengthened intellect.
Okay, thank you.
Any more clarifications? There's a hand going up there.
Let's have patience. Let's have patience until others talk. In hour's time, early in the morning, fresh with the thought that has been put.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
I would like to ask you, what are the challenges that people do generally face in integrating these principles, like balancing thoughts of mind and decisions of intelligence?
you face this issue all times in your office environment, in your domestic environment, in social environment. See, the world is not designed to cater to all our demands all the time. Sometimes you can be catered to. What you like may come your way, but not all the time. So it is at any time there is a challenge before you, and which is dealt with by the intellect. If you have a developed intellect, it shows you a clear path how to handle that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Srinivas, come here. You can take one more.
Good morning, ma'am. Firstly, we are fortunate enough to have your presence here, and I would like to raise a question. Like, is there any link between intelligence, creativity, and humor?
Humor comes from strengthening the intellect, not, and so does creativity. See, intelligence gives us the material, the raw material, right? Einstein went to school. Everybody went to school. When Newton was sitting in the garden, when he was sitting in the garden, an apple fell down from the tree. It is Newton who asked, why did the apple fall down? Why did the apple not go up? What made the apple come down? This is creativity. Intelligence is observing various things. He worked upon that observation. And from that came the three laws of motion. So he made an observation. When you start thinking about, ask when, where, how, what, to that what the intelligence that you have. See, intelligence everybody has. But there will be one scientist, one artist, one doctor who will find a cure. General, normal things everybody does. The masses do that. But who stands out? He who works upon that intelligence in an original way, applying his intellect to that, questioning it. That is creativity. What are the next thing you wanted? Humor. And so is humor. Humor and intelligence is not humor. It is that capacity to be objective, which is by the intellect. And it has because you're objective, you're able to see a funny side to things. And that brings humor in you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
I feel so thankful for your wonderful words. I would like to ask you a question. Being an intellectual person, how can we control overthinking?
It is, I'm quite touched. I was asked about this overthinking. Young children asking about overthinking. Clearly, there seems to be there's too much, lot of information available, a lot of competition out there that you need to outdo the others and get to some higher position or something. And in that race, you tax yourself with overthinking. You tax your brain with overthinking. You may want to step aside. So it is your own intellect if it is developed. I'm not talking about how much information that's why we try to distinguish the two. One is you have the capacity to get information. The other aspect of intellect is when it reasons, thinks. How much information? For what do I need this information? What will happen if I don't think? This dialogue is done by a developed intellect when you have picked up the intellect in strength. It is that which will punctuate. It is also the mind. So suppose the mind has desire that I should get this position and this much thinking. It will punctuate the mind from going overboard. getting obsessed with that overthinking. It could be an obsession which is springs from the mind. So that which controls the mind is your intellect. So it is important that you have an intellect which is developed.
Thank you.
At this point, I'll share one more thing. See, I have cut short the talk. I did not share very many thoughts which I wanted to because I felt somewhere that probably it is heavy or you're not responding. For whatever reason, I then switched on to Sri Devi's story. That was not planned to give you the whole movie story. But I said you probably need to just relax. So give you some stories and that's it. Through stories, give you some lessons. Now that this overthinking point is coming here and there. Now, what do we mean by strengthen the intellect? How do we strengthen the intellect? We did say there is no program given nowadays in the college or education institution to strengthen the intellect. Okay, having said that, but what it is, actually it's quite a simple thing. You strengthen the intellect in two steps, two ways. One is, how do you strengthen the muscle? If you were to just lie down, not do anything, few days you just keep lying down, what will happen to your body? What do you think will happen? Don't act at all. What happens? You become lazy. What happens to, if the muscles are not used at all, what happens? It will lose its strength. The more you exercise, that's why when you go to the gym, you pick up weights and you move those weights, lift the weights, take it higher, take it right, left, all that. When you do that, what does it do? It develops the muscles, it develops strength in you. The more you work, the stronger the muscle. The same goes with the intellect. We said strengthening the intellect. The intellect gains strength, power, when it is exercised. What do we mean by exercise? Should we send the intellect to some gym? No. What is the exercise for the intellect? It is to think, right? So the first step in that thinking is do not take anything for granted. The second discipline is question everything. We are not saying you should develop a questioning attitude, but it is just to awaken. In Sri Lanka, many, many years ago, okay, we were driving from the airport going to the host house. In Sri Lanka, it rains, or at least that was the rainy season. It rains frequently also. So does it in England. So along the airport road, there were many poles, wooden poles, okay. Now, that poles had what? It had, the top of it was like pencil, pencil. It has a sharp edge and then the column. So the poles were all of this design, either side. So the host was asked, hey, why this poles have this conical shape? He said, to tell you the truth, I didn't even, what? I had not even observed these poles were there. Okay, so no observation. Meaning the intellect is not awake. Intellect is not awake means it is asleep. Though your eyes are open, you're driving on the road many, many times. There's hardly any observation. It is a sign that my intellect is asleep. If, let's say, that step you cross, your intellect is not asleep, and you do notice things, and you did notice those poles. If the intellect is alert, is alive, is not dead, you're not brain dead, then the natural question should come, what is the reason? I wonder why these poles are pencil shaped. Why not flat? Because they have spent more money to make the pole conical. Why did they do that? Why? They could have just chopped a rectangular piece and posted there. Why conical? Anybody? This is called thinking. This exercise will strengthen the intellect. It is not the knowledge of history, geography. By no means it is being recommended that these subjects should not be studied. Of course, thanks to these subjects, we have this beautiful, comfortable world, transformed world. But in this comfortable world, in this world where the standard of living has been increased, man's quality of life has deteriorated. That's why you say good old days. Why do we say good old days? We always refer to our, when I went to my grandfather's house in the village, small place, there's that many, not many facilities, yet we had a good time. They used to have a good life. Why do we say that? Because today the intelligence has been increased, not the intellect. The intellect is not being developed, meaning the art of thinking, just thinking, using the intellect. It is not used. When you have a challenge, you're numb. You don't know. So what do? Either you retaliate, hit out, or you withdraw. This is not facing a challenge. Challenge facing is like what? What is the example given to you? If you do not answer, we stop here because there's no point because you're asleep. What are the examples we gave? That's much better. You would have got a lot more if you had attempted to answer. But no problem. You didn't know. Like that coffee bean. You face the challenge. And where is the effort when you face the challenge? Did you work on the adversity or on yourself? When you face the adversity, did the coffee bean go to change the water or it worked upon itself? Worked upon itself. It brought out the best from itself. It brought out the rich aroma and the flavor. Then when it brought out the best, it was not selfish to just keep it to itself. It shared it with what? The adversity. Change the adversity itself. This is what the intellect does. This is what happens when you think. So why are the poles sharp? Why did the government spend that money and made the poles sharp? This is called exercising the intellect. Also, we are not recommending. It is not necessary to have answer for everything. Why is the fan this way? Why is this? What paint is this? How does the air conditioner work? I'm not saying that go seeking answers for it. No. What is being recommended for strengthening intellect is first of all to be alert, to observe things. The man did not know there were poles right from the airport to a good few kilometers. He said, I had not observed it. His intellect is asleep. When you are asleep, meaning you are in bed, not using the body, there will be muscle atrophy, meaning the muscles will become weak if you don't use them. Simple as that. Second discipline, what did we say? First of all, observe, and then what should you do? Question. Why is it? Not be like a crazy thing, everything. But generally observe, and then your intellect should interact with that observation. Whatever you have seen. Oh, I see. This hall has low ceiling and lights are like this and maybe even. So whatever your observation, anywhere, all the time the intellect should be alert. It's like driving. When you're driving, you cannot afford to doze off. You go off track. The intellect is meant to be awake. So you observe. And the second thing we said was it should question. Not necessary that it should find the answer to everything. Of course, wherever you can find the answer, it's very interesting. Yes, you should. And by the way, what is the answer for that? Let's see if anybody answers here. One tip. Sri Lanka has rains and there was a lot of wood. So they used the trees to make. But why was it pencil shaped? Let's see if you are able to answer. Yesterday there was a talk. Young girl, what she answered. Mike. That is also intellect.
because I think it is easy for the water to drift off because
Excellent. Correct. See, there is some response, meaning you are awake, your intellect is alive. If you do not answer, because I can gauge you that whether you are awake or alive. Only according to that, I will administer the further information, further points. You can't be talking to sleeping, just to the chairs or sleeping people. Excellent. So, if the pole was flat, right? It didn't make conical, it was flat. A rectangular piece of block of wood they put there. What will happen with the rain? The rain will go in the crevices and it will rot the wood. You have to change the poles there. So they make it sharp edge. The water falls and slides off, runs off. Poles are protected. You can go on asking many questions. You know, this one of the things about the IQ test. You know, this IS, Indian Civil Service, they have this IQ exams, IQ test. In what is the IQ test? The questions are not that difficult, but the time factor, they will give you, let's say, 30 odd questions, and they will say in 4 minutes you have to answer 30. That's the speed in which your intellect has to see what is the odd one, which is the odd figure. In seconds you have to answer. But you know, maybe you're brilliant, you can answer the. There are people who do that, okay? But you know, this person who brought down the 2 towers in America, you've heard about that tragedy? The twin towers were brought down. Yes, no? Okay. So there were these twin towers in America where somebody masterminded 2. Okay. The guy who planned that operation definitely had a great intellect. It was not an easy job to. There is so much of coordination required, pre-planning, pre-thinking. All possibilities have to be imagined, thought of earlier and attended to. If this happens, how will I do? If that happens, what plan A, plan B, plans? Everything should come in, kick in, so that his destructive plan goes unfailing, right? But he had the intellect, but what is the direction? It is destructive. That intellect is of no use. You destroy yourself and destroy that which is around you. That is no use. What makes a sharp intellect? See, it should have a right direction in life. It should have the knowledge of right values, higher values. Then this sharp intellect uses the higher values, does good to himself, does good to the whole society, whole country, whole world. That's where Vedanta comes in. Vedanta is made up of 2 words called Veda and Anta. Veda means knowledge, Anta means end. It is a subject, it's a philosophy which gives mankind the highest knowledge of life and living. When you learn that subject, in fact, that I referred to earlier, and you will be seeing a short presentation, Vedanta is taught there. Vedanta is found in the Vedas, in Bhagavad Gita, in scriptures. It is just pure science, pure logic, reason. No opinions, no faith, no beliefs, nothing is to be swallowed. It's pure logic, reason pertaining to our life in this world. How to be successful and peaceful. It helps you build an intellect, gives you values to channelize that strong intellect in a positive manner in life and in the world. This is what it does to you. So, when you study Vedanta, that we refer to the e-learning course or the academy, the 3-year course which it offers, it builds a strong intellect in a positive sense. Any more questions?
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
My name is Prithvi. I need advice from you. How do we battle with mind to overcome distractions and as engineers to stay productive every day and accomplish our daily tasks?
By building a strong intellect. A strong intellect is the answer to every problem that anybody has under the sun. Any problem, it is the intellect which deals with the problem. Animals have got brute force. You examine an eagle, what eyesight it has. From that height, it has a sharp focus on the prey down. It can see, and then it has the capacity to. How does it fly? It just darts in seconds to pick. It is endowed with that capacity. A human being's life, we are not any less. We are also greatly blessed by nature. Our blessing is in form of this intellect, but we said the intellect which is born at around 8 or around that time has to be worked upon, has to be developed. You must say how lucky the animals are. No working, and they are given skills. Lion has a skill, bird has a skill, fish has a skill. Why this human being now we have to go to school, then develop? Now school may only intelligence is given, intellect. Then where do I find how much trouble? You are given this homework because you are a superior race. A human being amongst all nature's creation is the masterpiece of creation. See, when you are a child, please sit down. When you are a child, can't think, right? Every decision is made by the parents. You're going to school, so you may want to go to the canteen and eat, or you have to do something. They will give you whatever, 50 rupees, I don't know what it is now. Whatever, some money they will give you. So that you can do your thing, whatever you have to do for the day or for 2 days or whatever. When you grow up, what is given to you? When you grow up, it is possible a credit card is given to you. When you are young, every decision is done for you. When you grow up, you get the credit card, meaning what? We believe in your capacity to think that you will make good use of it. You are given freedom. With freedom comes responsibility. So we said the human being is the most superior race. Animals do not have intellect. So a dog can drink water from the switch, from the drain. Its stomach will not go off. Its stomach is designed to handle that dirt. But if you and I were to do that, we'll be in hospital and probably be dead. We need to boil the water or filter the water. The most superior you are, the more superior your intellect, greater comes the responsibility. This is what we are. But then, with that great, see, the animal, still you may think, Arey chalo, doesn't matter what is there. But what is the animal's life? How dependent they are upon their nature. But a human being is designed to be totally independent. To have to enjoy complete happiness, total independence. In Abu Dhabi is, a place in Middle East. What? It is, sun means hot sun. That's how it is. It's a place of desert. Yet, I have seen this. There was a tree planted. There were 2 buildings and a tree was planted. The tree was planted and yet a tree died. Due to what? Lack of sunlight. In Abu Dhabi, for the lack of sunlight, if the tree were to die, it does not have the independence. The plant cannot say, hey, in this 2 buildings are shading one another, so I'm missed out on sunlight. I don't have sunlight. I can't do photosynthesis. There is no food for me. So let me take a walk. It cannot step out of that place and expose itself to sun. It cannot. It is entirely dependent wherever it is planted. If the conditions are good, it will thrive or it will die. Same with animals. Do not have time. We cannot give more examples. But a human being, the story of human being is different. Why? Because of one single thing. It is endowed with an intellect. No animal, forget the plants, has an intellect. Intellect you are given. This most precious equipment of ours has to be used if I want to make my life complete. Actually, we are the greatest species, but is directly proportional to the strength, to the development of our intellect, which is not got just by secular subjects. Secular subjects will give you a standard of living, not standard of life. Any more questions? Otherwise,
Morning,
yes.
ma'am.
Yes.
I would like to ask about can intellect grow indefinitely or are there any natural limits?
The intellect can grow till you merge with your supreme self, which is not the subject today, which I will not touch upon. But yes, the intellect can grow, can be made strong in relative terms when I speak. Like I said, there will be nothing in the world that can bother you. This power your intellect can achieve if you work on your intellect. Nothing means nothing. You will be totally independent, totally liberated, totally free, ever happy. This is something you owe yourself. This is what every human being is heir to. So it helps you reach the dignity of a human being. That's what it does. And ultimate sense, it will merge you with that supreme reality, your true self.
Thank you.
If you are done, thank you very much. I think for 2 minutes or something, there's a presentation on Vedanta Academy. Please go ahead. See that?
of Malakli in India. Kilometers from Mumbai lies a campus which draws seekers of self-development. Nestled in the serene hills of Malakli in India. 108 kilometers from Mumbai lies a campus which draws seekers of self-development. Founded in 1988 by world-renowned philosopher Swami Parthasarathy, the Vedanta Academy is created to develop the whole personality of young individuals through a 3-year residential program. The course curriculum is based on Swami Parthasarathy's 65 years of scientific research and writing on Vedanta, India's timeless philosophy on life and living. The program enables you to strengthen your intellect and gain clarity of thinking. With reflection and focused discussions, you find answers to all of life's questions. The intellectual development is accompanied with devotional practices to elevate your mind's emotions. The campus provides you with facilities to discipline your body through yoga, sports, jogging, and gym. There are also opportunities to engage in service for a higher cause in various areas of your interests. A carefully designed daily schedule nurtures spiritual growth and is supported by the company of like-minded seekers from diverse backgrounds. You can also experience the Vedanta Academy through shorter visits, customized retreats, corporate leadership programs, as well as live decoded youth retreats. Learn techniques to improve yourself and your relationship with the present-day world, and peace and success.
Madam Sushila ji, we are deeply grateful for the enlightenment lecture you delivered to all of us on fundamentals of right living. Your insightful thoughts and the practical wisdom has inspired all of us to reflect our values and principles. So thank you very much, ma'am, for giving us a very great enlightenment today. And I request our Vice Principal, sir, Dr. T. Haribabu Garu, SNH HOD Dr. P.D. Sailaja ma'am, and also I request Sushila ji to please accept our token of gratitude towards you and please accept our felicitation as a customary practice of lending. I request Sailaja ma'am to please come forward.
Yeah, well, before the end of this talk, I have a little announcement. Thank you, ma'am. With your permission. We have a language lab. Quickly by evening today, I have seen most of you whose intelligence was completely covering with the development of your intellect. Several times, ma'am also has emphasized this point. By the way, before this evening, somewhere at 9 p.m. on the Padlet, every individual's account is checked. So where I wanted your thought process on this talk should be taught for a minute. The best I would like to share it with our Connect, Satyanarayana ji. Is it okay, sir? So do you all understand what you have to do? If you do not understand, please meet me or meet any other language teacher. What to do on this talk as a feedback kind of a thing for us. Quickly, with the permission of ma'am, any 5 boys and girls are also allowed along with all the guests who are sitting before us to facilitate the occasion of ours to felicitate ma'am. 5 boys and 5 girls. 1 boy has already come. 2. Only 5. Girls don't want to come. Then no problem.
I request Varmagaru and other guests of the day to please come on to the dais to join the felicitation program.
There's no tough challenge, 5 of them are happily coming up. I thought 5 will fight for the other 5, but boys have done it. This time girls, I don't know what happened. Many are going that side of it. Thank you.
You need to remind them.